Thank you for being here. Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is going to be a phenomenal presentation, largely due to the fact that we have Kim Larsen in the house. She is our featured presenter. Kim has so many compelling and powerful stories. As a heads up, you might want to grab some tissues. Kim and I are part of a company called ASEA. What is ASEA? ASEA is a biotech company that does research in the field of cellular health. We don't do the research alone. We partner with universities globally. However, we do stand alone comes to being able to stabilize redox signaling molecules. It's an exact replication of something that your mitochondria make. It's the most fundamental part of your body that helps your cells communicate. It amplifies, it clarifies signals between and within your cells. So they're just talking to each other better, and that way they can detect, repair, replace damaged cells. It's largely responsible for upregulating your endogenous production of glutathione and catalase and superoxide dismutase. And basically, that's just nerdy speak for it's really going to boost your immune system. You don't have to be a germaphobe. And what I love so, so much is that it turns on genes for your cardiac system, your immune system, your inflammatory system, your digestive system. Did I get them all, Kim?
You've got quite a few of them.
Inflammatory system, immune system, digestive system, cardiac system. That's what I missed. And uh, hormone modulation. Now we have a mission with ASEA. Thank you. Our company's mission is to better people's lives and be a force for good throughout the world. We do that by making products that empower your cells to work better and heal faster. And every health challenge involves cells, but we go beyond that. And that is why KimMarie is here. So KimMarie Larsen is the chair of the ASEA Advancing Life Foundation. She's also the senior vice president of the Ethos events and recognition at ASEA. She has been with our company since the very beginning. She is passionate about breaking the cycles of abuse and poverty and suffering, and she believes that sustainable change can empower individuals and break these cycles. So with that, let's just shift the spotlight to Kim. Kim, thank you again for being here, and please take it away.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to be with you each this evening. And for those of you who are going to watch this on a recording, I am grateful for your time and to allow me to share with you some of the amazing impact that ASEA is having around the world through our foundation. So I'm going to share my screen right now. All right. So for those of you who may not know, ASEA started 15 years ago, and we had our first event 15 years ago, and about 10 years ago is when we started the foundation. So the mission statement for ASEA is to better people's lives and to be a force for good in the world. And 5 years into the company, it was decided that one of the ways that we could really be a force for good in the world and to better people's lives is by starting the foundation. And so we launched the foundation at our convention 10 years ago. So for the past 10 years, we have been focused on the mission statement, as Laura mentioned, which is to break the cycle of poverty, abuse, and suffering. And with that, we have been working on several different types of initiatives that fulfill this mission statement as we partner with other nonprofits who have created sustainable change. And we partner with other people versus doing everything ourselves because that allows the donors' dollars to go further. Because we are not trying to reinvent something that another foundation, another nonprofit has already found success in doing. And we look for other nonprofits who are have people in the countries that they are working in on the ground with existing relationships with the government officials or the tribal leaders to truly maximize the impact that we're having. So the initiatives that we have focused on is to provide clean water, to provide education, and to fight against human trafficking. And lastly is food insecurity and disaster relief. Now, I'm going to go through an overview of the foundation and some of the accomplishments that we have made in the past 10 years, focusing on these initiatives. If you were to go to our website, you would see that we are doing work in over 26 countries in the last 10 years. There is a map that you're seeing here. And on our website, you can click on those little dots and see what the projects are that we have done in each of those countries. And every year we keep adding to this map and having more and more people who are feeling the influence of ASEA through our foundation. Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties here. Hang on. There we go. With the clean water, we have gone to Cambodia and partnered with one of our partners called Vision Cambodia. And over the last several years, we have installed over 378 wells. You can see in this picture, this older woman getting water. Many of the people in Cambodia are getting water just the way that she is, where they take a bucket, they go to a little pond or a little area like what she's in, and they will step down and dip out the water and carry it home. Sometimes they're walking long distances, sometimes they're not. Groundwater is readily available in Cambodia. They just don't have the means to really drill a well and to access the water. Okay, so you can see how filthy the water is. Oftentimes, if it's a larger pond from this, the animals are down in the pond and they are bathing, and that is the same water that people are taking home and using to cook, to bathe their children, to eat, and to bathe themselves. And because the water is so filthy and full of pesticides and diseases, the people often are becoming very ill. And as a result, they are losing their jobs because they can't go to work. Children are having to skip school so that they can go find food for the family because the parents are sick or they haven't been able to maintain a job. And so the children might gather up plastic and try to sell the plastic so that they have money to feed their kids. So it's really creating a lot of issues, and that cycle of poverty just keeps repeating itself because they're just struggling to survive. And they're struggling because of the health challenges that they're facing due to not having clean water. So Vision Cambodia was founded by a man named Chanta South, who grew up in these villages, who was given a really amazing opportunity to get an education and came in contact with tourism, and he started making money. And he decided that no child should grow up the way that he grew up. And he puts in these wells, and we pay the basic cost of putting in a well in Cambodia, which is $375 to give a village clean water. And as they have been getting clean water, they are experiencing better health. They're getting better jobs so that their children can go to school. And the cycles of poverty are starting to turn around for these individuals. We're also putting in clean water wells in Africa. And we have put in over 41 wells. Now, in Africa, it's very different from Cambodia. You have to dig so deep to access clean water. You're going down over 200 meters into the ground. And women and girls will walk for hours to go get clean water. And they'll come with their containers and walk home with their containers. They'll bring their clothes to these stations and wash their clothes and take their clean clothes home. And girls aren't able to go to school because they need to do this process. Sometimes they're walking to the well, and back home with water 3 times in a day to have enough water to give their animals water, to cook, to bathe, to do their laundry, all those things. So the blessing of having a clean water well close to their village is tremendous. And it's allowing the women and the girls to be able to take the time that they were spent in getting water to focus on other needs in the family. And I cannot tell you the joy that they have expressed as I have been there to see these wells, and the gratitude that they have in their heart for being able to have that time freedom to be able to focus on other things for their families. We put in 41 wells, and we're continuing to put wells in Africa. We've also donated 2 village drills. You can see here on the left this drill. And the amazing thing about this drill that makes it really unique is that there's many areas in Africa that you can't get a big drill rig to because of the infrastructure. There's not the right roads. It might be up a river into a rural village. And this drill does not need anything but manpower to drill. So they can break it down into small components, put it on the back of a truck, or put it in like little carts behind a motorcycle, or put it in a canoe and take it up the river, assemble it on site, and they're able to actually drill as deep as they need to access water. And so this is giving the ability to put water into areas in Africa that probably wouldn't normally have clean water just because the infrastructure isn't there. And these wells, or these drills, have gone to Malawi and to Kenya, and they're starting to drill wells in those more remote areas, providing clean water. And in Africa, when these wells go in, we are giving clean water to sometimes 3,000 people with one well. So it's significant how much impact our dollar is having with clean water. Now, our other initiative is education. We started working on education back in year 9 of the foundation. And we started with building this beautiful tech school in the cloud forest of Ecuador. So this is up in the high mountains where the indigenous people live. And typically, the students there would maybe graduate from high school, but high chances were that the girls were dropping out before high school, and that some of the young men would graduate from high school, but not all. It was very rare for any of them to continue on and get a secondary education just because of the sheer cost. And it was not obtainable for them to have access to that because they didn't have the funds. So we started building this school, and I think I saw Masami on here, and she was part of the expedition crew that went down, and we worked really hard in building the walls around the property to help protect the property. And then we went back and we started building the foundations and building the big warehouse that you can kind of see at the top of the hill. And the last time that we took an expedition there, we were building the foundation for the secondary building that's a little bit lower down. So over 2,700 graduates have graduated from this program, and they offer multiple courses there, and it's certified by the government. So they are receiving some of the best technical training in the country, and they are learning about automotive mechanics and auto body. They're learning about plumbing, electricity, They're teaching the women how to have restaurants and the proper way to handle food, hospitality, so many different things that people can go here and get an education. And when we built this, we thought it was going to be a lot of the youth who would be going to the technical school. But we found that everybody was so excited about this, and many mothers and fathers have gone to the school. Some have gone to school with their children there, and they're starting businesses. And the beautiful thing about this school is it was finished right before the pandemic. And people were starting to go to school and get this education. They were able to turn to a Zoom type classroom and then have students come in and demonstrate the skills to get the certification. And many of the students started their own businesses during the pandemic, which gave them the resources to take care of their family. One of the women that we visited after this school, the pandemic was over and we were able to go down there, Chuck, Tyler, and I. One of the women we visited told us how, with her restaurant, she started to employ other women. And during one of the hardest economic times of the pandemic, this school was empowering women in a community to have money to take care of their families. And I thought that that was so beautiful that even though we started this so long ago, it was so pertinent at that time to make a difference in their lives. This has become a beacon of Ecuador. The government has come and they have brought so many people to come see this school, and they have talked about building something similar in other parts of Ecuador to allow more people to have this type of quality education, because they are seeing how beneficial this has been. And this could not have happened without those who have gone on the expeditions and those who have donated to the foundation. Incredible things are happening in Ecuador. We are excited that this year we are taking back 2 expedition groups to Ecuador. And you are going to be able to see firsthand the impact that our foundation has made in Ecuador. Now, the school's built, so we won't be working on the school, but we will visit the school and we will visit some of the people who have gotten an education, and we will learn how that education has changed their lives for generations. We will do some service, but it is not going to be the backbreaking work that we did when we built this school. It will likely be that we're painting a school or something of that nature. So if you would like to join us, there is space available on both of these expeditions. It's May 31st through June 7th. And then the second expedition is June 7th through the 14th. And we would love to have you as an expeditioner on the expedition. If you would like to participate or get more information, please email mpaspuel@aseaglobal.com. She will send you the links and the information, Maria will. And the cost is $1,500 to go on the expedition. That covers all your hotel, transportation, and meals once you get to Ecuador. So you'll have your flights on top of that. It's an incredible, life-changing experience to go on an expedition. It is so difficult to describe what it's like to meet these incredible individuals, to hear their stories, to hear their struggles, and see how we have powered their potential and that they are making differences in their communities through your donations. Another thing that we have done with our education initiative is in Bangladesh. These beautiful women right here have benefited from your donations. There are 94 young women who are getting an education at a university, at various universities throughout the country. And we have partnered with a nonprofit called Speak Up for the Poor. And Speak Up for the Poor goes into these remote villages and gives an opportunity to young girls to stay in school. This country is so riddled with poverty that many of the families have to make the very difficult choice to feed their daughters. They have to marry them off, sometimes as young as 11 years old, because they can't afford to feed them. When these girls are married off at a young age, oftentimes they are trafficked. They are trafficked either as labor traffic, they're sent to the factories to work, or so that the men can have more money. They might be trafficked in sex trafficking. But many of these girls don't have the means to get an education. So Speak Up for the Poor goes into these villages and allows the parents to have an option. They will pay for the school fees. They will pay for the uniforms. And the girls that are in this program have the opportunity to go get a secondary education in the universities, studying whatever it is they would like to study, and Speak Up for the Poor will help pay for those educations. What you see behind these young women is a dormitory that we have helped to expand. So we have doubled the capacity of the dormitories and allowing more students to get this education. And the beautiful thing that's happening is as these girls are graduating from their programs, many of them are studying to be nurses, teachers, doctors. They're going back to their communities, and they are the pride and joy of the communities because they are such a rare thing to have a woman with an education providing and giving back to their community in meaningful ways. And as they are seeing these women go back into these communities, the interest of families being able to take advantage of this opportunity is increasing. Another thing that we have done with education is in northern Ghana, we have built this school system right here. So there is a kindergarten, there is a primary school, and there is a junior high school. And this is a community where the schools were in ruin. They were crumbling, the walls and the roofs were falling in. So the children weren't really getting an education. Some would come to school, they would sit underneath a tree, learn a few things until it got too hot, and then they would go home. Now that this school system is built and in place and turned over to the government, they are seeing that more and more students are traveling farther distances to be able to come to this school to get an education. And they are excited. The amazing thing that happened when this school was being built, these construction company that was hired by Engage Now Africa, they hired the local fathers to come in and help build this school. So the fathers are so proud of being able to have been part of building the schools, and they want their children to be there, and they want to take care of the school because that was something that they helped to build and provide their children with this future. And the community has been so excited to have the opportunity to get an education again. And the community continues to support and build the infrastructure around the school. Not too far from here, probably about a half an hour drive, there is a little town, a little village called Chania. And we are currently building a primary school in that community as well. So this is an area where it's mostly agricultural. The children would work in the farms. And I believe that them getting an education is really going to break the cycles of poverty and provide a completely different feel in 10 years in this area. Now, in Zambia, Mothers Without Borders is a nonprofit that we have partnered with. Last year in 2024, we funded the operational expenses of this school that was already there. This school has 850 students from the surrounding area, and they are receiving some of the best education in Zambia. This school has children who will walk up to an hour to school and an hour home from school. They'll do it rain or sunshine, in the heat of the day or in the monsoon weather. Um, and they do it because they love to learn. And they have this amazing opportunity to get an education. And great things are happening because of this school. They also, Mothers Without Borders has a program that teaches the girls once they finish primary school to stay in junior high and high school. It's called the Be That Girl program. And they have taught the girls and empowered the girls that they can have dreams, that they can have an education. And as these girls have been empowered, they found that the young men were longing to have a similar experience. And so there's a boys empowerment program, which we are funding this year. And there are 80 students in the boys empowerment program. These are children who are in grades 8 and above, and young men who are going to tertiary school and getting an education. The Boys Empowerment Program helps pay for their school fees. It gives the boys that are going to junior high school and the universities bicycles so that they can ride to school. And for those boys who are in really remote villages and need to move to the city, it helps to pay for their housing. And they all get a mentor. And why this is so important is in Zambia, 1 in 10 children is an orphan. And the rest of them, for the majority, a lot of them are being raised by a grandmother, a single mother, possibly even an older sibling. HIV is rampant in this state or this country. And so there's a lot of families that just aren't the traditional family structure. And so there's not a lot of positive role models for these young men. So they get a mentor who meets with them every week, and they have activities, they learn skills, they encourage them, they help them with their schooling, help them to figure out maybe what the right path is to continue their education and to study and have as a career. And they're teaching them values, morals, how to be good fathers, how to respect the women and treat them right. And so this is a beautiful program. When we were there in Zambia this last July, we met several of the young men in this program, and they talked about how important this program has been for them. I asked one of them, who is now a social worker and is working at the primary school that has the 850 students. And I asked him what the Boys Empowerment Program means to him. And he said, it has allowed me to be a change agent. And if I wasn't part of the Boys Empowerment Program, I really, truly believe I would have ended up in jail, because I have learned how to be an upstanding individual and to give back to my community and make a difference, and how important that is. So these 80 young men were afraid that they probably were going to be losing the opportunity to be part of the Boys Empowerment Program, because Mothers Without Borders did not have the funding to keep the program going. And as we met these young men and heard their stories and heard some of the circumstances that they were coming from, we realized we wanted to be able to help them to continue to have this opportunity, and how impactful this is going to be for the communities that they live in, to have this positive role models and people supporting them and believing in them. One of the initiatives that we supported this last year is the fight against human trafficking. We partnered with a nonprofit in the Philippines And this nonprofit had incredible work this last year in the Philippines. They focused on rescuing, preventing, and partnering with law enforcement. So in the last 10 months in the Philippines, they have had 67 interventions on human trafficking. They helped place 84 survivors into an aftercare, and 33 of them were minors. 34 adults are now free from being trafficked. They have arrested 26 perpetrators, which you figure that not only did they arrest those people, but because they're stopping them from continuing in this crime, that over 182 future victims have been spared because of your donations. They have worked with 16 different law agencies, and 100% of the cases had social workers present when they were going on the raids. They've had 20 successful cases and worked with over 32 agents and engaged them in trainings on how to conduct meaningful raids and rescues. 985 people, both young kids and their parents, have been trained on the dangers of sex trafficking and being online and how to keep them safe. And they did this through 8 different events. One of the stories that they told me this fall was that as they were rescuing these children, one of the children that they rescued was only 2 weeks old that was being trafficked. Your donations are making an incredible difference for babies, for children, for parents, for families, for young men, young women, all across the globe. We could not do this without you. As well as rescuing children in human trafficking, we have funded over 8 dogs. These dogs are part of police stations throughout the United States. They've been trained to be able to go in on raids and smell electronic devices. There's a chemical that is on every type of electronic device that they can smell, and they can smell it up to 12 feet away. So if something is hidden in a light fixture, or something is in a vent, or something is under the carpet, or hidden inside a teddy bear, they can smell it. And oftentimes what happens is when the police go on a search warrant to try to get evidence to arrest a person who is either selling child pornography or involved in human trafficking, they have hidden that evidence in a place that humans don't typically find. So these dogs are brought in after this search has been conducted by the police officers, and in most situations, the dogs find something that was missed, and it's evidence that can be used to help prosecute these perpetrators. We helped to fund over 15 clinics in the United States. And these were clinics in rural areas in states that are known to be really high in human trafficking. And this training was important because it taught the staff there and the medical professionals the signs of human trafficking, how to identify a victim, how to talk to a victim in a way that they felt like they could say whether they needed help, and what to do if they had a victim that needed to be rescued. In addition to this, last year when we had our incentive trips, at our ascents, we helped the local communities where we were having these beautiful vacations. When we went to Puerto Rico, our attendees on the vacation that they earned, instead of going to the beach, came one morning and assembled over 820 food kits that were then donated to seniors and families in the area. At our North America conference, we had volunteers create garden towers. These garden towers 50 of them were sent over to Cambodia where the wells are. And the garden towers, as you can see in this bottom picture, they will expand them, fill them up with dirt. There's little holes on the sides, and the plants, it becomes a vertical garden. And they're able to grow more food in these garden towers with less water than if it was planted horizontally in the ground. So 50 of them went to Cambodia, and the other 50 were shipped to Kenya. And the people in Cambodia were so thrilled to be able to have fresh produce. When we went on our expedition to Cambodia right before the pandemic, we planted gardens. And I received some pictures 4 months later of some of the children that we saw, and their skin and their bodies just looked more healthy because they had access to good, nutritious food. Many of the people in Cambodia are eating nothing on some days, or they might be catching little tiny frogs and eating that. They might be eating rats. It just whatever they can catch is what they're eating, and some rice. So having vegetables is such a rare thing in some of these locations. Now, if you want to learn more about what the foundation is doing, please become friends with us on the Facebook ASEA Advancing Life page. You can also go to our website and go to the little tab that says stories, and we try to update stories there several times throughout the month, or once a month, or whatever we can, to help share with you the impact that you are having. And it's a great place for you to see firsthand the impact that the foundation is making. You are able to donate to the foundation in a couple of ways. Go to our website at advancinglife.org. There's a donate button at the top right corner. You can donate there. If you want to donate through your VO shopping cart, you can go to the Advancing Life shopping cart. You can add a donation. You can set it up just like a subscription where every month it makes a donation. You can donate that way as well. And you're always welcome to send us a check if that's easier as well. But I would like to tell you how grateful I am for the amazing ASEA community who continues to open up their hearts and sharing money that I know is a sacrifice for so many, to be a force for good in the world, to break the cycles of suffering, poverty, and abuse. We truly have made a difference in millions of lives. The terrible fires that are happening in California, we were able to send money down there to the Salvation Army, who's there providing shelter, water, and food to the victims. You are having a very tangible difference in lives here in the United States, as far as Africa and in Asia. Every dollar makes a difference. 100% of your donations goes to these initiatives. There is not one person who is paid a salary that works with the foundation. And we process that money straight to our partners. And we very carefully vet our partners to make sure that your dollar goes as far as it can, and it's not being used for administrative costs. We carefully look at their finances. We carefully review each of the projects and the initiatives and how they're spending the money. We are a 501c3, so you do get a tax credit by donating to our foundation. We are so grateful for you and the difference that we are making. And that is all that I have to share, Laura. Thank you.
Well, Kim, covered in goosebumps, I thank you so much. I know we have a few guests on here who have actually participated in some of these amazing projects. I saw there's a picture of Donna Lynn Dominguez and Maureen Hayes from Puerto Rico that you showed. Donna Lynn, are you here?
I am. I'm here.
Thank you for being here. What was your favorite part? What's your best story that you have? What's your takeaway?
Well, I have only been able to go on one of the Advancing Life trips, and that was last summer to Zambia. And it was probably one of the most life changing adventures I've ever been on. The like KimMarie said, the people seeing the poverty, but the joy, they're so grateful. I mean, it it shames you to think about the things we complain about when you see the joy those people have and the way they sing. They're just singing praises and dancing and thanking everybody for being there. And I mean, they don't even have shoes a lot of the times. They have hand me down clothes. Nothing matches, but they don't care and they don't need that. It's beautiful. I love what Advancing Life does. I love the opportunities they give us to participate. I actually started doing the WELL program several years ago when I first got in, and it's it's awesome to know that you've had a little part in making a difference. So, well, I mean, I can't wait to get back. I was going to go to Ecuador this year, but it interferes with high school graduation stuff for my family, so I don't get to. But I may try to go to Zambia again anyway. And anybody that wants to come go at the same time, please do.
That's amazing, Donalyn. And I remember we were talking, it was months ago, it was right after that trip. Do you remember how much it cost to support like one student for an entire year?
Yeah, uh, $25 a year supplies food and school supplies for one student. That's not $25 a month, $25 a year. So think what $100 donation does. You know, if you can do $100 a month to Advancing Life, you're going to help a lot of kids. But their program is so beautiful. That school is amazing. I wish everybody could see the way they teach. They're all together. They encourage each other. They praise each other. It's absolutely beautiful. And like she said, those kids walk a long way every day to come be a part of that. They consider it such a privilege. And I loved it. I loved all of it.
Thank you, Donalyn. Donalyn is our Business Builder of the Year, by the way. Thank you so much for being here, Donalyn. And I see that Masami is here also. Masami, what would you like
Hi,
to share?
thank you for having me. This is like one of the best conversation I like to share with you guys. Well, Kim and I first we did was 10 years ago, Kim. The first trip, right? Like 9 or 10 years ago, right? I've been a CF for over 10 years. And our first trip that actually made in Mexico, there's no expectations. Actually, we are surprised that we have to sleep on concrete in somebody's warehouse. That's how bad it was. But of course, I went with Dr. Hayes. You know, she's one of the buddy, and we went. It was just I can't explain until you experience this. The poverty is and the people are so grateful. And one of the reasons that I'm going to share with you, Being a SEA, it's not just a building a business. I wouldn't probably stay in this business for 10 years because it's the humanities involved. If you create the great income in a SEA, donate the money. The money goes all the way. You can change literally people's lives. And I never thought about that. And when I was doing this trip, every time I do it, it's like, oh my God, this is so hard. And my back hurts. I even injured myself in this trip. And then I will never do it again. But then every year comes in, go to different places. I sign up for it. Why? Because I can change people's lives in such a little effort. So same thing as a team building, we're doing it. People, you don't need to donate a lot of money. If you can donate $5, $10 a month towards a foundation, it really makes the difference. So ASEA really give you the tool to do this, home business, right? And if you don't want to do the business, fine. Products amazing, change people's lives, but it can really change people's lives. It really, really does. And then Bernadette said, we are all at the start of something big with great purpose. Right now, at the moment that we begin influence the future. Okay, that is our company. We need to do the work. Really does. So this is, I think, on my 4th or 5th trip, and I missed Cambodia because the COVID happens, and Maureen and I goes, oh, I don't want to stick in the airport. I can come home, so we didn't go. But then we went to Africa last trip in August. And Donalyn was there. It was unbelievable experience. Not only that, Africa was one of my bucket list to do traveling. Why not do mission work? Stay for 1 week and just spend time with the children. And one day we actually serve your food for the bunch of children there. Some children eat only once a day. And as Donalyn said, $25 per year, we can feed the children this food. You have to experience it. You got to go on a trip there. If you go on a trip, go this kind of experience there, you're going to have a bigger vision. Your business going to grow. Over this 10 years, so many times I thought, oh my God, this is so hard. I can't do this business. But I'm just, so my attraction is not just the selling a product there. I want to be the part of this, mission. And Cherry Latham always said to become. That is the key in this business. So you become something. And then before you go on this earth, if you write the books, how you like to end it? How do you like to end in your story there? Something you can do big with this company. So anyway, that's that. And thank you so much, Kim. And she's been so much energy into the last 10 years doing this project. And it's absolutely amazing.
Thank you, Masami. Yes, Kim is the heart of ASEA's Advancing Life Foundation. And I see that Maureen Hayes just hopped on our Zoom.
Oh, she did?
Lovely.
Good.
Yeah, she just hopped in. Maureen, you got anything to add?
Hey, yeah, I'm glad I could jump on. I'm actually sitting at the Nashville airport. We just landed here and waiting for our flight home to Houston. So in any case, it's so great. Kim, I'm sorry I missed your part because I just love you to death. And this is one of the best parts of ASEA, honestly,
Yes.
you guys, is to be involved with ASEA Advancing Life because, we change people's lives every day with what we do with the new technologies that we're sharing and helping people to have, a better quality of health, a better quality of life. But when you give back and you give back freely of the heart and the opportunities that we have to really make an impact, not just in individuals' lives, but in entire communities. You've heard about some of these programs, and I will tell you that you get so much more out of it than you could possibly give. You will leave these expeditions changed. And if you aren't the type of person who likes to get your hands dirty or sleep in warehouses, like Masami was saying, with no electricity and no toilets, it's a whole nother story. Then donate. I donate to a lot of different causes because some people have gifts that I don't have, but I feel very strongly about it. So, join us if you can on these expeditions, but if you can't, then please consider, a monthly donation because we are changing people's lives and it's so very important. So thank you for letting me, I hope you can hear me okay because I'm on my earbuds. But thank you for letting me be a part of this, Laura. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Maureen. I just appreciate everybody here so much. We've gone beyond our 30 minutes, but everybody's stuck around because all these stories are so powerful, so compelling. I appreciate you all so much. I wanted to talk tonight also just for a moment about we're doing a fly-in opportunity. It's exclusive for my team, and maybe you'll be able to see Kim Larsen at the ASEA headquarters. It's February 19th. If anybody is interested, just reach out to me. I'll give you all the details. But you get a behind the scenes tour of getting to see the manufacturing site of how exactly ASEA is made from start to finish, along with all of our other products. You get to meet the amazing people at headquarters, the executives, Kim, the formulators, the scientists. It's super fun. Boink. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Again, thank you so much, Kim. Totally appreciate you taking the time to do this. It was inspirational. I thank you for your dedication. I thank you for your friendship.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here. Thank you, everybody.